Let me tell you something that might shake you up a little bit. Some of y'all are too kind and it's ruining your life. You think kindness is always a virtue, but the truth is being nice to the wrong people is costing you your destiny. See, I'm not saying you should be rude, disrespectful, or unloving, but I am saying you need to wake up and realize that not everyone deserves your time, your energy, or your kindness. Some people are leeches. They suck the life out of you. Some people are dream killers. They discourage you from taking action. And some people, they don't even care about you. Yet here you are bending over backward to please people who wouldn't lift a finger to help you win. Most people are taught from a young age that kindness is always the right response, that being nice to everyone is a sign of good character. But what they don't teach is that kindness without discernment is dangerous. When you give kindness indiscriminately without considering who deserves it and who is simply taking advantage, you put yourself in a position of weakness. You become a doormat for other people's selfishness, constantly giving but never receiving, constantly pouring into others while your own cup runs dry. Eventually, this pattern of blind kindness leads to exhaustion, resentment, and a loss of self-respect. There are people in this world who will take advantage of your kindness, not because they appreciate it, but because they see it as an opportunity. They see your generosity as something to be exploited rather than respected. These people are the ones who always need help, but never offer any in return. They're the ones who expect you to be available for them at all times, but disappear the moment you need support. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your entire life catering to people who wouldn't even cross the street to help you in your time of need. Wisdom is knowing when to give and when to withhold, when to be kind and when to be firm. Discernment allows you to recognize the difference between someone who genuinely appreciates your kindness and someone who is just using you. If you don't develop this skill, you will constantly find yourself drained, frustrated, and wondering why your kindness is never reciprocated. The truth is, kindness is only valuable when given in the right context, to the right people, at the right time. Without discernment, kindness loses its power and becomes a weakness rather than a strength. Many people mistake being kind for being passive, for avoiding conflict at all costs, for saying yes when they should be saying no. They believe that in order to be a good person, they must accommodate everyone's needs, even at the expense of their own well-being. But this is not true kindness. This is self-betrayal. True kindness includes self-respect. It includes knowing your worth and refusing to be manipulated by those who only seek to take advantage of your good nature. If you are constantly putting others before yourself without considering whether they deserve it, you are not being kind. You are allowing yourself to be used. When you lack discernment, you end up enabling bad behavior in others. People who always take and never give continue to do so because they are never held accountable. When you keep saying yes to the wrong people, they learn that they can rely on your generosity without ever having to earn it. You teach them that your time, energy, and resources are freely available regardless of how they treat you. And over time, this creates a cycle where you give endlessly while they take without a second thought. And this is not just harmful to you, it's harmful to them as well because it allows them to remain selfish and irresponsible without consequences. Not everyone is meant to have access to you. Your time, energy, and kindness are valuable resources, and if you don't guard them, people will take them for granted. Just like you wouldn't hand over your bank account to a stranger, you shouldn't hand over your kindness to people who have not proven themselves worthy of it. People should earn your kindness through their actions, through their consistency, through the way they treat you. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, drains your energy, or takes you for granted, they are showing you that they do not value what you have to offer. And when someone doesn't value you, the worst thing you can do is continue giving them access to your kindness. It is important to recognize that being discerning in your kindness does not mean you are unkind. It means you are intentional. It means you are choosing to invest your kindness where it will have the greatest impact, rather than wasting it on people who don't appreciate it. It means you are making sure your kindness is actually making a difference, rather than simply enabling people to continue taking advantage of you. The most successful and fulfilled people in life are not those who are kind to everyone. They are those who know how to direct their kindness wisely to people and situations that truly deserve it. Kindness is a powerful force, but only when used correctly. When given without thought or discretion, it becomes a liability rather than an asset. Those who are truly wise understand that kindness must be balanced with wisdom, with boundaries, and with the ability to say no when necessary. If you want to be kind, but be kind with wisdom. Be kind with purpose. Be kind in a way that builds you up rather than tears you down. Time and energy are two of the most valuable resources you have, yet many people waste them on relationships, conversations, and commitments that do nothing but drain them. Too often, people feel obligated to give their time to anyone who asks for it, believing that being available to everyone is a sign of kindness or generosity. But in reality, spreading yourself too thin, giving attention to the wrong people, and engaging in relationships that add no value will only slow you down. If you give your time and energy to people who don't appreciate it, you will find yourself exhausted, unfulfilled, and unable to focus on the things that truly matter. Some people feel entitled to your time simply because they know you, work with you, or have history with you. They expect you to answer their calls, reply to their messages, listen to their problems, and be there for them at a moment's notice. Yet these same people rarely offer anything in return. They take but never give. They demand but never appreciate. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your life catering to people who contribute nothing to your growth, success, or well-being. These are the people who will keep you stuck, draining your energy without ever refueling. The harsh reality is that some people are in your life only for their own benefit. They don't care about your goals, your dreams, or your peace of mind. They only care about what they can get from you. They'll call when they need a favor, show up when they need support, and lean on you when their world is falling apart. But when you need them, they are nowhere to be found. You must learn to recognize these one-sided relationships and remove yourself from them. Giving your time to the wrong people robs you of the opportunity to invest in those who truly deserve it. The people you choose to spend time with will shape your mindset, influence your decisions, and determine the direction of your life. If you surround yourself with people who inspire, challenge, and support you, you will grow. But if you surround yourself with people who complain, gossip, and make excuses, you will start adopting their habits without even realizing it. Energy is contagious, and if you consistently engage with negative, toxic, or unmotivated people, their energy will begin to affect you. Protecting your time and energy means protecting your mind and your future. Some people are time wasters, and not because they intend to be harmful, but because they are aimless and directionless. They spend their days talking about their problems instead of solving them. They live in cycles of negativity, never taking action, always making excuses, and expecting others to listen and sympathize. If you constantly engage with people who refuse to take responsibility for their own lives, you will eventually become a dumping ground for their problem. You are not obligated to give your energy to those who refuse to help themselves. There is a difference between supporting someone who is trying and enabling someone who refuses to change. Many people struggle to set boundaries because they fear being seen as selfish, rude, or unkind. But boundaries are not about being mean. They are about being intentional. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you are saying no to something that could empower you. Every time you entertain a meaningless conversation, you are losing time that could have been spent on something productive. Every time you give your energy to people who don't value it, you are stealing energy from the people who do. Being selective with your time and energy is not selfish. It is necessary. Not everyone is meant to have access to you. You must learn to prioritize the relationships that align with your purpose and walk away from the ones that don't. It does not matter how long you have known someone, how close you used to be, or how much they expect from you. If a relationship is no longer serving your growth, it is okay to let it go. Loyalty should not come at the expense of your peace. Just because someone was part of your past does not mean they deserve to be part of your future. Your time and energy should be reserved for people who respect, uplift, and contribute to your journey. The most successful people understand that time and energy must be protected at all costs. They do not allow distractions, negativity, or unnecessary obligations to consume them. They are intentional about who they engage with and where they invest their time. They understand that every minute spent on something unproductive is a minute stolen from something meaningful. If you want to achieve your goals, live with purpose, and protect your peace, you must take control of where your time and energy go. Jesus was the embodiment of love, compassion, and grace, yet he was never afraid to set boundaries. Many people have a distorted view of kindness, believing that being Christ-like means allowing others to take advantage of them, always saying yes and never pushing back when people demand their time and energy. But Jesus did not live to please people. He lived to fulfill his purpose. He knew that if he allowed himself to be pulled in every direction by the wants and expectations of others, he would not be able to accomplish what he was sent to do. His life was a model of intentionality, showing us that love and boundaries go hand in hand. One of the clearest examples of Jesus setting boundaries was how he handled his time. He did not allow people's expectations to dictate his schedule. Many times throughout the Gospels, we see him withdrawing from the crowd, stepping away from his disciples, and finding solitude to pray and recharge. In Luke 5:16, it says, "But Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed." He understood that constantly pouring into others without refilling himself would leave him drained. Despite the endless needs around him, he prioritized time alone with God. If Jesus, the Son of God, needed to set boundaries to maintain his strength, why do so many people think they can function without doing the same? Jesus also set boundaries with people who tried to distract him from his purpose. In Matthew 16:23, when Peter tried to discourage him from going to the cross, Jesus rebuked him, saying, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns." This was one of Jesus' closest disciples, someone he loved deeply, yet he did not hesitate to correct him. He understood that even well-meaning people could become obstacles if they were not aligned with his mission. He did not allow emotional attachment to override his purpose. Too many people today keep relationships that pull them away from their calling because they fear hurting someone's feelings. But if Jesus could set boundaries with a close friend for the sake of his purpose, so should you. Another example is how Jesus handled the Pharisees. They constantly tried to trap him with their questions, twist his words, and challenge his authority. But Jesus never let them manipulate him. He answered with wisdom, refused to engage in pointless debates, and walked away when necessary. In Luke 28, when they questioned his authority, he responded with a question of his own. And when they refused to answer, he simply said, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things." He did not waste time trying to prove himself to people who were only interested in arguing. He understood that some conversations are not worth having and some people are not worth engaging with. Jesus also set boundaries when it came to his inner circle. While he ministered to thousands, he only chose 12 disciples to walk closely with him. And within that 12, he had an even smaller circle, Peter, James, and John, who witnessed his most intimate moments. He did not allow everyone to have the same level of access to him. He loved all people, but he was selective about who he shared his time, energy, and deepest revelations with. This teaches us an important lesson. Just because we are called to love everyone does not mean everyone should have the same access to us. Some people are meant to be loved from a distance. When people tried to pressure Jesus into doing things before his appointed time, he stood firm. At the wedding in Cana, when his mother told him they had run out of wine, he responded in John 2:04, "Woman, why do you involve me? My hour has not yet come." He did not allow even family to dictate his timing. He operated on God's schedule, not man. Many people struggle with this today, feeling obligated to meet everyone's demands, constantly being pulled in different directions because they do not have the courage to say "not now" or "this is not my priority." But Jesus showed that even with those he loved, he did not let pressure force him into premature action. There were also times when Jesus walked away from people. In Mark 6:01, verse 6, when he went to his hometown, the people doubted him, questioning his authority because they only saw him as the carpenter's son. Instead of arguing or trying to convince them, he simply left. The Bible says he was amazed at their lack of faith. He did not waste time trying to prove himself to people who refused to believe in him. He did not stay in an environment that did not honor him. Some people today remain in toxic relationships, draining friendships, or unproductive environments because they feel guilty about leaving. But Jesus understood that you cannot thrive where you are not valued. Jesus also knew when to rest. In Mark 4:38, we see him sleeping in the boat during a storm while his disciples panicked. He was not moved by their fear or their urgency. He prioritized his rest because he knew he needed it. Some people run themselves into the ground trying to meet everyone's expectations, never pausing to rest or recover. But Jesus showed us that taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. If the Son of God took time to rest, to sleep, to step away from the demands of people, then there is no reason you should feel guilty for doing the same. The environment you surround yourself with plays a critical role in shaping your mindset, habits, and ultimately your success. People often underestimate just how much their surroundings influence them, believing they can rise above negativity and distractions simply through willpower. But the truth is, your environment has a way of molding you, whether you realize it or not. Just as a seed needs the right soil, sunlight, and water to grow, you need the right atmosphere to thrive. If you plant yourself in toxic soil, full of negativity, complacency, and distractions, you will struggle to reach your full potential, no matter how much talent or ambition you have. And one of the most powerful forces in your environment is the people you spend time with. If you surround yourself with driven, disciplined, and growth-minded individuals, you will naturally adopt their habits and mindset. On the other hand, if you spend your time with people who complain, make excuses, and settle for mediocrity, you will find yourself doing the same. Whether you realize it or not, the conversations you have, the attitudes you are exposed to, and the expectations of those around you influence the way you think and behave. You may think you can stay the same while keeping negative people in your life, but over time, their energy will either pull you down or push you forward. Your physical environment also plays a role in shaping your success. The space where you work, live, and spend your time can either enhance your productivity or hinder it. A cluttered, chaotic, and unorganized space leads to a cluttered, chaotic, and unorganized mind. When you are constantly surrounded by distractions, it becomes difficult to focus on your goals. On the other hand, a clean, structured, and intentional environment fosters clarity, motivation, and discipline. Successful people understand that their external world affects their internal state, so they make a conscious effort to create spaces that inspire creativity, focus, and efficiency. The culture and expectations of your environment determine what is considered normal. If you are in a place where laziness, procrastination, and low ambition are common, you will begin to see those traits as acceptable. If everyone around you is content with just getting by, you will struggle to push yourself beyond that standard. However, if you position yourself in an environment where excellence, growth, and high achievement are expected, you will naturally elevate your performance to match. This is why certain schools, workplaces, and communities consistently produce successful people. It is not just about individual talent, but about the environment that cultivates success as the norm. Your environment also dictates your level of exposure and belief in what is possible. If you grow up in a place where no one has ever built a successful business, achieved financial freedom, or pursued big dreams, you might not even consider those things as real options for yourself. Limited exposure leads to limited belief. On the other hand, if you are surrounded by people who are constantly pushing boundaries, achieving greatness, and turning ideas into reality, you will start to see those things as achievable for yourself. The more you see success up close, the more you begin to believe that it is possible for you too. The habits you develop are a direct reflection of your environment. If you are constantly in places where people eat unhealthy, skip workouts, and prioritize entertainment over education, it will be difficult for you to maintain healthy habits and discipline. But if you place yourself in an environment where people are conscious of their health, wake up early, read, and work toward their goals, those habits will become second nature to you. Success is not just about motivation. It is about setting yourself up in an environment that makes winning the natural outcome. Your habits are not just a matter of willpower. They are a byproduct of your surroundings. Even the words and language used in your environment shape your mindset. If you are constantly around people who speak in terms of limitations, saying things like, "That's impossible, I could never do that," or "people like us don't succeed," those words will become your reality. But if you surround yourself with people who speak in terms of possibilities, saying things like, "How can we make this work? What's the next step? And I believe in you," you will begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. Words create mental programming, and the environment you are in determines the type of words that are spoken over you. The key to success is not just about working harder, it is about placing yourself in an environment that makes success inevitable. When you are in the right environment, opportunities come naturally, discipline feels effortless, and growth happens consistently. Your environment should challenge you, inspire you, and push you to become the best version of yourself. If you want to change your life, the first step is to change the environment that is shaping it. Kindness is one of the most powerful gifts a person can possess. It has the ability to heal wounds, restore hope, and transform lives. When given in the right way, kindness can be a force that uplifts not only others, but also yourself. However, like any valuable resource, kindness must be used with wisdom. If it is given without discretion, it can be wasted, abused, or even turned against you. Many people assume that kindness means always saying yes, always being available, and always putting others first, but true kindness requires balance. It is not about pleasing everyone. It is about making an intentional impact where it truly matters. There are people who will see your kindness as an opportunity for manipulation. They will take advantage of your willingness to help, using your generosity as a means to serve their own selfish interests. These are the people who only call when they need something, who expect you to sacrifice for them but would never do the same in return. They know you have a good heart and they exploit it. If you are not careful, your kindness will become their tool, and instead of being a source of light, it will become a burden that drains you. Recognizing when your kindness is being abused is essential if you want to protect both your peace and your ability to help those who truly deserve it. Kindness is most effective when given to those who appreciate it and are capable of growing from it. There is a difference between helping someone who is struggling but willing to improve and enabling someone who refuses to take responsibility for their life. Some people do not want help. They want a crutch. They do not want to grow. They want someone to carry them. If you continue to pour kindness into people who refuse to change, you are not helping them, you are holding them back. You must be wise enough to know when your kindness is planting seeds of growth and when it is simply feeding someone's unwillingness to take action. The way you use your kindness also determines the kind of people you attract. When you are overly kind without setting boundaries, you will draw in people who are looking for someone to take advantage of. But when you are kind with wisdom, you will attract people who respect and value you. People treat you based on the standard you set for yourself. If you allow others to take from you without reciprocation, they will continue to do so. But if you make it clear that your kindness is a privilege, not an entitlement, you will create an environment where people appreciate and respect what you offer. Your kindness should never come at the expense of your own well-being. There is a difference between being selfless and being self-destructive. Many people give so much of themselves that they end up empty, exhausted, and resentful. They mistake overextending themselves for kindness, when in reality it is neglecting their own needs. True kindness includes self-care. You cannot pour into others if you are running on empty. The strongest, most effective acts of kindness come from people who have taken care of themselves first, because they are giving from a place of abundance rather than depletion. Another important aspect of kindness is knowing when to walk away. Not everyone will appreciate your kindness, and not everyone deserves continued access to it. Some people will take and take without ever giving back. And if you allow them to stay in your life, they will drain you. Walking away is not an act of cruelty, it is an act of self-respect. When you remove yourself from situations where your kindness is being misused, you make room to give that same kindness to people who will truly value it. There is nothing wrong with choosing to invest your kindness where it will make the greatest impact. Kindness is not just about what you do for others. It is also about how you teach others to treat you. If you allow people to walk all over you in the name of kindness, you are not setting a good example. You are reinforcing unhealthy behavior. Being kind does not mean being passive. It does not mean tolerating disrespect, overlooking mistreatment, or allowing yourself to be taken advantage of. True kindness has strength behind it. It has boundaries. It is given from a place of confidence, not desperation. When you are kind with wisdom, you teach others that kindness is not weakness, but rather a choice rooted in strength. The most powerful kindness is intentional, directed, and purposeful. It is given to those who will appreciate it, learn from it, and grow because of it. It is not wasted on those who only seek to take without giving in return. Kindness should be something that empowers both you and those who receive it. When used wisely, it can be a tool for transformation, creating better relationships, stronger connections, and a more positive impact in the world. But when given without discretion, it can lead to exhaustion, frustration, and regret. Your purpose is one of the most valuable things you have. It is the reason you are here, the mission you are meant to fulfill, and the impact you are supposed to make in this world. But purpose does not just happen. It requires focus, discipline, and protection. If you do not set boundaries, distractions will creep in, people will pull you in every direction, and you will find yourself drained, lost, and unable to move forward. The greatest enemy of purpose is not always failure, it is often a lack of boundaries. When you allow too many things to take up your time, energy, and attention, you will never have enough left to dedicate to your calling. There will always be people who demand more from you than they should. Some will come with good intentions, asking for your time, advice, or help. Others will come with selfish motives, looking to take advantage of your kindness, your resources, or your influence. If you do not set clear boundaries, you will find yourself constantly giving, constantly saying yes, and constantly feeling obligated to meet everyone else's expectations while your own purpose is left neglected. You cannot be everything to everyone and still expect to fulfill your own assignment. The people who truly respect you will also respect your limits. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to you. Too often, people confuse kindness with availability. They assume that being a good person means always being reachable, always being involved, and always making time for others. But wisdom teaches that access must be earned. Even Jesus, who loved all people, did not give equal access to everyone. He had 12 disciples, but only 3, Peter, James, and John, were allowed to witness his most intimate moment. He ministered to the multitudes, but he often withdrew to be alone with God. He understood that in order to fulfill his mission, he had to set boundaries around his time, his energy, and his focus. Your boundaries protect your peace, and your peace is necessary for your purpose. When you allow too many people into your space, especially those who bring negativity, drama, or distractions, you disrupt your ability to focus on what truly matters. Some people carry chaos with them, and the more time you spend with them, the more that chaos seeps into your life. You cannot afford to let unproductive conversations, unnecessary conflicts, and toxic relationships drain you. Every moment spent dealing with unnecessary drama is a moment taken away from your purpose. If you want to reach your destiny, you must learn to guard your peace with everything you have. Time is one of the most valuable resources you will ever have, and once it is gone, you cannot get it back. Every decision you make about how you spend your time is either moving you closer to your purpose or pulling you further away from it. If you constantly allow others to dictate your schedule, interrupt your focus, or consume your energy, you will never have enough left to pursue the things that truly matter. Setting boundaries with your time is not selfish, it is necessary. You must learn to say no to distractions, no to unnecessary commitments, and no to anything that does not align with the vision God has given you. One of the biggest challenges people face when setting boundaries is the fear of disappointing others. They worry that saying no will make people upset, that setting limits will make them seem unkind, or that walking away from unhealthy relationships will make them appear selfish. But the truth is, you are not responsible for how people react to your boundaries. You are only responsible for protecting what God has placed inside of you. People who truly support your purpose will understand and respect your limits. Those who do not respect them were never meant to have full access to you in the first place. Boundaries are not just about keeping the wrong things out. They are also about making space for the right things. When you eliminate distractions, limit access to people who drain you, and protect your energy, you create room for clarity, creativity, and growth. You allow yourself to be fully present in your purpose without feeling exhausted or overwhelmed. You begin to operate from a place of strength instead of depletion. Your ability to say no to the wrong things